and OG. I'm only Pixel here with Fog. We've just seen the draft. It's all very exciting, right? We have Liquid, they raise up the TA, then out comes the Pugner, and then they say, well, we're going to switch it around. We're going to bring out the Meepo. But, and there's a big but, right, Fog? There's something kind of good on OG's side.
There is a good Elder Titan pick for that Meepo. This should be a really interesting one. We look at OG, like you said, this is what happens when we get to the later stages, and of course, in the finals of TI. It's all about counter picks and just mind games. Like you said, they just swap the lanes around immediately just from the picks. And even though you don't see too often that these swaps happen, it's gonna be those mind games. Because immediately, look who's actually playing the Meepo, and look at his items. Those aren't mid items on our Meepo. Those are side lane item Meepos. So that's already a big change up there. They're going to be seeing the player. They're going to be Weeha's playing Meepo. Of course, it's going to be mid. So now we're going to see if they can actually scout the lane. Weeha's just going to hide. He has to hide this to make sure that OG does get caught off guarded.
And talk to me about this then. The Elder Titan, a hero that we've seen a lot of drafts where, for other reasons, there could have been the reason to pick the Meepo, but it hasn't come out. What makes this hero so scary for the Meepos out there?
A lot of times, of course, you get that big amount of damage that can work for Astro, but it's a 5 position. I think the bigger thing as a 5 position versus that Meepo is you're amplifying everybody else versus him, and you're stunning multiple Meepos. Sure, he's not going to be stacking all 5 of them all the time, or all 3 or 4 of them at the same time, or 3 of them, whatever, in those situations when he does have them, but it's the likeliness that you're getting multiple Meepos stopped is very, very high.
We're going to see both teams come out to try and get a look at getting the advantage in the runes, and it will be Liquid able to take 3 bounty runes to start the game off.
Lanes are identified immediately. OG's going to play super aggressive down bottom. They know it's a Meepo in the side lane. They're just going to constantly be running at him, and now it's going to be Miracle in that matchup mid versus a Tiny.
Interesting to see, especially after, as the panel were mentioning earlier, how Weeha and Miracle were sort of juggled around back in the day on Vulcan Bears between the mid lane, and now here on the same team, Miracle says it's my turn to take myself back to mid.
I'm really curious
to the side lane
to see how the side lane Meepo is going to do. We pretty much strictly see this hero placed in the mid lane because you need experience. You want to be getting that solo experience for yourself, being able to always. I think actually going to get a tops back. Tops it. He actually has the tree grab as well. Yeah. But put some pressure on. But yeah, the Meepo is going to be splitting experience with the Chen. So I think we're going to see Kuroki, in particular, moving away from the lane a lot as the Chen. You have to give Meepo levels.
And looking at the other side lane, up top, mind control tied, backed up by GH. Against Hotel and Anna. This is a lane where Anna's going to be able to get some space to farm, or can Liquid really amp up the pressure on a Spectre early on?
I think Anna's going to be able to farm up here just fine. They could get set up some kills onto No-Tail, but onto Anna, I don't think you can kill Spectre with a Rubik and a Tidehunter. You can prevent some farm though, right? This is the damage reduction lane. Fate Bolt as well as Anchor Smash will be a little annoying, but this is what Elder Titan does. This is why he's picked so often.
He runs the heroes down.
Yeah, he just secured the lane pretty nicely for
refreshing the spirit here, nearly getting GH. Single-handedly just beating these two far away from Anna, so Anna's got all the space in the world.
Yeah.
Let's have a look on the mid lane. CS 7 for 3, Thompson at the moment against the 4 for 0. I guess what expected, Tiny's going to have this advantage?
Yeah, would definitely think so. It's also very easy to always play aggressive as the Tiny too, because your Avalanche removes 6 of those instances of refraction whenever he does get the levels up on Miracle. Just gotta make sure you don't need too many side blades as Hobson, because you are very low armor, of course.
Again, he's going to take quite a bit of damage in response this time with the ghost of the Anchor Smash. Trying to run away with the tank. He's going to look for the neutral kryptonite. And again, GH. Able to get that first blood, taking down No-Tail.
I came here
No-Tail for the most part still able to do his job with regards to pushing them away from Anna, but obviously wants to make sure that he doesn't feed himself away too many times. Otherwise, that is when you are going to see that dual lane up top, get the levels, and then have that better chance of forcing that Spectre out of the lane.
It's his job, though. I think a death like that for No-Tail, it's forgivable. Sure, you don't want it to happen, but he's owned them. Like you were saying, Anna's able to get all last hits. He's 11-1 when it's only 7-2 Tidehunter. So it's all about the space. And we look at OG's draft. They're about the late game. You look at Liquid's draft, they're very early game centric. They want to be snowballing the game, getting roach control, and just ending the game before it gets too late on. Because OG's, if it gets to the late game, you can assume that they're going to be able to take it very easily with that Spectre.
Yeah, and when OG's having such a good time in some of these matchups, they're going to be very happy. The mid lane continuing to Thompson's favor, 15 for 8 against the 9 for 0. Miracle is going to look to fight back. Thompson getting rather low. Miracle over the angle. He does find the angle, but it isn't quite enough damage. Thompson will be able to walk away.
He's going to have to TP to base, though. That's pretty huge there. Miracle, after having a pretty rough start in the laning phase, 8 denies on the Tiny, pushes him out. Thompson getting a bit too over-aggressive there. So we see Weehaw is going to be hitting this level 3, level 4. Kuroki has absolutely been moving away from the lane a lot to ensure that the Meepo gets that extra experience. And he's grabbing his creeps. He's actually grabbing the Ogre Frostmage this time just for the armor. 15 armor on Meepo to soak some of that bullying that comes out from Seb as well as Jarex. But they're clipping the wave, and they want to continue this pressure.
Farm between Seb and Wee, very even at the moment. They're both getting something good out of this lane. Still the best position on the map happens to be Anna's up top. The Spectre leading the way in CS. The duo lane was not able to do enough to break past No-Tail and slow Anna's early game down.
Thompson will not get the rune, but the rune will spawn bottom, and Jarex is already there waiting for it. So yeah, I mean, we hop down bottom. He's just gonna farm really well, actually. Even though the Enchantress tends to be able to bully most heroes, with the Ransack in combination with this armor, like his main Meepo is sitting at like 17 armor when he's away from the tower, of course. So how do you harass 17 armor when he's also healing off hitting creeps? So definitely an interesting approach coming out here.
Thompson back in the lane, definitely with them. A good bit of time the Miracle got with Thompson having to head back to base. Even trader farm is there, and of course Miracle as the TA will be able to turn towards the jungle camps, ancient camps, and get those sort of guaranteed item timings unless OG's able to really invade Liquid's half of the map and get in his face.
Bounty runes in 10. Team's preparing for those. Thompson making his way down bottom to fill up his bottle as well.
Radiant are scanning.
Look at the grab back, he's on the cliff.
He doesn't have a TP.
He doesn't have a TP, No-Tail.
He's gonna watch the runes get taken right in front of him.
Oh, he's gonna be stuck up here for a little bit of time.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
His only way down, really, a TP delivery. And it's not going to come for a while.
No,
he has some on the courier, but of course Thompson's got to take priority.
Now they're going to shift Jarex up top. He actually was jungling as the Pugna when he got the Arcane Rune, so level 3, pretty decent levels on this Pugna to come up top and try to help Ana a little bit. And Ana already has Soul Ring, so he's got his farming item already finished up on the Spectre. But they will be able to pressure him a little bit now as GH, though, steps up a bit too far.
Get the dagger into him. Jarex moving forward. GH brought down low. Jarex needs one more blast to connect, and there it is. GH is brought out. As soon as No-Tail's out of action on that top lane and on the cliff, they bring Jarex in and are able to make sure that lane really does continue to go the favor of OG. And the time and space is created for the courier to get out, get No-Tail his TP, so he's back in action.
And he's going to double stack. So he got some time wasted for himself on that other Titan, but gets 2 stacks up for his team to be able to farm up. And he's going to get that extra gold as well from that stack.
Yeah, and OG just really made the best out of what could have been a bit of an awkward situation.
Yep.
With OG potentially having Ana be supportless on that lane for a minute. A group back up, OG making full efficiency of the shrine. And that bottom lane, Weehaw.
It's the most important one to look at.
He's getting the farm. He's able to turn into the jungle. He's back with the boost. He's keeping Seb low. Seb, he's going to be able to run away with that heal, but has to be careful as that magical gets leveled up.
He's committing forward again, actually, onto Seb. Fakes out those poofs. Seb will be forced to pop one of the fairy fires just in case. Weehaw, it's a really interesting approach, right? I mean, Kuroki is literally just giving this Meepo pretty much full experience down bottom, and it's giving him good opportunities to pressure Seb, pressure an Enchantress, which you usually do not see.
Minimize if you can get the setup again as Seb gets locked in here. Still the creeper Kuroki, but the control's there from Weehaw. Fairy fire pops Seb. He's going to have to heal back up in a second. So once more, will be able to keep himself out of vision behind the tree. Hold the heal, Weeha's going to try. Now he's going to hold it off. He knows he's not got the damage to do so. Back up top, Liquid getting in close and personal with No-Tail.
I wonder if that was a bit of a misclick bottom, right? Kuroki actually divine favored the Meepo that was right next to him. Back to, I think he was trying to pull, I don't know, I think he was trying to pull GH or somebody else bottom to go for the Enchantress, but he ended up pulling the Meepo that was right next to him. So a little bit of wasted time there for the divine favor on that first game, but you do get No-Tail on top.
So overall, a very close winning phase. A 1k advantage at the moment for Liquid, just 2 for 1. As there's no one really getting heavily zoned out of their lane. All the cores finding farm in this early game.
I guess mind control may be the slight one, but he's just right behind Seb anyway. He took barely any advantage for the chance. But now Seb, he's trying to get it.
Bottom tower is under
Taking some
attack.
pressure on.
Making sure that Weehaw cannot sort of be left to his own devices inside of the jungle.
It's a neat way of like approaching the dynamic, right? They're like, okay, Enchantress is gonna suffer a little bit here, but then Jerax, you're actually the one that can pressure tower. So now we have a partner that's farming bottom and taking the tier 1 as a support.
Thompson was able to get in and grab the regen with the Miracle. He's got backup. GH is there. Thompson, he cannot escape these two. GH is able to block him off. He may have got the rune, but it'll cost him his life. There's no further backup from OG prepared for that contest of the rune that Liquid knew was absolutely going to happen. Thompson was going to go hunting for that 8-minute rune every time.
And they actually like double protected the mid lane to his sentries just to be able to watch out for their side traps from the TA, but not up toward the rune. And those are the ones that are really going to punish the movements. You aren't able to have those sentries placed on pretty much everywhere.
Alright, it's ready to smash some balls with the double hand players, taking them up towards the top, settles down to mind control, instantly cracking shells off the sleep, but it doesn't matter, the damage output from Thompson will take mind control out of the lane. Successful rotation from Thompson, we'll see if he can make anything more happen with this. Kuro still around in the neighborhood of Thompson. GH is another combo, it's another kill. Thompson, with his moves that he's so well known for, he knows exactly when he can leave that mid lane, head elsewhere, and make so much happen in favor of OG as he'll slowly chase down Kuro. Seth will be there to steal the kill, but Thompson's pressure and movements of 9 minutes in, getting 3 kills for OG.
And he killed the Chen creeps as well, and he keeps the regen on it, so he can go make another move. We've seen Thompson do this a lot of times.
Thompson.
Yep, when he plays the Tiny, he just gets super active. Look at Seth as well. They just need to get active around the map and then to give space perspective.
He's trying to play the number game here, seeing if he has the damage output to bring down Jerax, but in fact it's Jerax that brings Weeheart. He's one of the meepos incredibly low, will be able to get into the trees and poof back to safety, back towards mid. Thompson starting to dive in towards Miracle. He has the meld, no detection on the front lines from OG. So Miracle will be able to back away. Also GH and Kuro by his side in case the dive came in, but OG they'll hold up. Look for the 10-minute rune. Thompson's going to be able to grab it again. Double damage this time.
Oh my god.
You've got to watch out for the plays he's looking to make.
You can't let him get all these power runes. We saw what he's been able to do in the group stages when he just starts taking all the runes, and it's starting to happen. Sure, Liquid, they're still looking good with their farm, but they want to be more ahead. They're all about that early game centric draft, and Thompson started.
Nothing more terrifying than a Thompson Tiny coming to look for a high five. GH has to run. He's going to come
middle
over.
tower is under attack.
Thompson knows that he has dove as far as he can, or has he? Still looking at an opportunity to get in on GH as he'll look to come down the trees.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Continues the chase, he sees the opportunity, and he's just getting so much done. This Tiny just can't stop killing people.
And he's going mid again, and they're already pressuring the tower with the siege creep here, while Ana just continues to farm up top. Ana does not have, he does actually have mana.
Ravage in mid, mind control's going to come in with a quick setup into Jax. The metal hit from Miracle will do the job. Now they look for the it's on the step, smash there from the Hellbear. Liquid will punish OG. Getting themselves those 2 kills as the rest of OG sort of tried following the footsteps of Thompson with their aggression. Doesn't work out as well for those two.
They bring a lot of attention though. Weeha's still able to farm the jungle for the side of Liquid, but a lot of attention's been brought onto that mid tower, and it's pretty much dead. It's down to 150 HP. But OG losing a bit more than they probably wanted to there as Mind Control getting that nice Ravage. But Ana, that's the big one to look at, right? He's got the Soul Ring, he's now got the Midas finished up as well.
Low.
It is low though. Weeha might actually have to set up for this here.
Even with any way to escape as we are from the trees. He's got the catch. Ana, has he got the movement speed? He has, in fact. He's going to be able to separate himself. They're trying to go for it, but they just don't have enough duration on that lockdown. He'll be able to walk away from what looked like potentially a guaranteed kill.
And that would have been such a clutch one too, right? He's right with the Midas who's coming out. Thompson getting a bit deep here, getting surrounded. Has the phase boots from the wind lace, but will be slowed down.
It's rain on the top of the mountain. Finally puts to an end.
They are literally just running around trying to set up kills in space to this vector, but now Sam also a bit far out.
This gets down. Heavy damage output of Liquid's arrows. He cannot continue to play this aggressive, overestimating his safety with that heal, but it doesn't matter if there's the burst online. And at this point, 12 minutes in, with Liquid having the numbers, they can easily take the edge out of the game and put pressure on the tier 1 tower. CTP in from Thompson is ready to try and have GH will be there, but still with the start of Avalanche. He'll keep Thompson and no tail at bay.
big two moves there by Liquid. This is how they want to play. They want to be setting the tempo, setting the pace with their draft, and getting that big early advantage, and then they can go into the rush pit and force OG to fight them when they have this late game Spectre. OG doubling down to make sure they protect their mid tower too. It's all about this map control and keeping themselves farmed up. It's really going to be that name of the game. Is OG going to try to farm, get gank as well, and just let the Spectre get that late game assurance. Seth actually had a Midas queued up as well, and he switched. He's starting to realize it's not just like the magical damage that was hurting. I think this is reverse from all the armor reduction. That meld plus the gosh, it's too much for him to handle. He's got so really wanted to emphasize that he can actually survive with a single combo, but there's a lot of magic damage also. Like,
It's just, if you remember apart from the Meeper, the Weeheart Beeper is still going to be a big threat for Seb, but like that was going to be the case anyway. It's not like it makes the situation worse. If it was caught out by the Meeper now, he'd probably die anyway. So having that close setup against the other heroes on Liquid's lineups will certainly give him a chance to get the heal off, walk away, and buy time for the rest of OG to come in and keep the fight going.
Level 12. This is a very high level TA with a lot of farm right now. Almost at the top of the net worth in the game. And at level 12, the person attempts it. And then, as expect, he will be actually done.
Duration control. Will be out, but there's the backup. No doubt. He's able to see a beautiful sleep. He's held down. The rest of Liquid trying to abuse the fact that Seb's alone. This time, will be able to walk away. But if that mid two from Towers, Miracle keeps pushing on.
There's one of the examples why ET can be so good versus me, because you're always going to be getting to some situation where you get multi-heroes and setting up around. And even Jerax down bottom, Ana was low. They don't want Ana to go back to base. Jerax actually drains pretty much all of his health pool with the life drain to heal up Ana so we can keep that map presence.
You can definitely feel that timer. Ana, Midas, 1,700 gold on his way towards the Relic and Radiance. They've got to keep the pressure on, and they have now got that desolator done on Miracle. We've seen already the physical damage they can offer. Here we have it again. Good one set. Back to the base with you, as Liquid can now make these moves, take these tier 1s and even start to think about going for tier 2s very early on with this Chen, Deso, TA combination.
Even go for sneaking a Roche. They could even just send the Chen creeps with the TA, easy Roshan, or the same thing with the Meepo. They have a lot of different options that Liquid can do in order to just sneak these very strong objectives for them that they need in this game. They want to keep the snowball going. 3k advantage, very good for Liquid right now, but they got to keep it up. They don't want to slow down in this game at all. Do not let OG back up and farm.
This is their window. This time before the Radiance, they have to take as much as they can from the map.
Radiant structures are fortified.
Turning up top, trying to get that creep aggro off the tower.
Also going to see Notel start to head over. We get a few wards down. The vision and back in mid. Thompson was pushing out the wave. Weehaar was ready to make the jump.
Thompson.
Can he get himself out? The avalanche buying him time to get into the trees. The next rig will miss, but that one will connect as Weehaar. Has he got the damage? He's done. Weehaar now starting to get the kills. And again, top lane set. He just gets run down by this combination of the Tide and the TA. Notel's disabled as they'll pick him up, toss him down. Miracle's just starting to walk around with the group, get these kills after kills. They really are playing the exact pace they need to, Liquid, as they now stand at a 4k gold lead, and they're getting these early objectives.
And they're running directly to the pit. They just got all these kills on the map. They know everyone's going to be respawning, but they should be able to kill this way too fast for the side of OG to respawn, but they are going to be respawning. Let's see if they can actually make it there, as also a full Ethereal Blade now finished up for the Meepo.
Now we're going to see, when Weeheart tries to go for these kills, he's going to get them every time. There's not going to be that sort of delay, that requirement for him to They're going to get destroyed in the first combo that the Meepo comes out with.
This is exactly how they needed to play the draft so far, and they've gotten away with that. They just need to keep that advantage pushing. Ana, about 200 gold from the Relic.
It's close. The timer is still ticking.
Yep.
It's midnight. Thompson jumps upon. Jerax is there. Can offer the heal to keep him safe, as well as Notel throwing out a stop. Liquid They're not
Radiant's
ones
bottom tower
to
is
stop
under
the pressure
attack.
they're putting on. They'll stand tall here as they push on towards this tier 2 tower.
And I love how they can do this. They send Meepo bottom, they send Weehaw down there. He can set up to defend the tower, and he can just poof back in. Or even if they send another hero bottom, they can divine favor and bring that hero also back.
Got to watch for mind control.
Dire's middle
That
tower
Lincoln
is
Ravage
under attack.
available. He's looking for an opportunity to set something up. Anytime he feels that he can get in with a Ravage, he'll go for it. In fact, they're going to try and fight with the Horn here. Straight mind control. Just run OG's hero as well as Weehaw. Aegis getting taken at once. So they can go for it a second time. No, he had the main Meepo out in the jungle, so he's easily safe and back out off the back of the respawn. A 2 for 2, a 2 for 1.5 with Aegis being burnt.
5-man Ravage though coming in. I don't think he didn't even get the blink up. He just walked in and
He just walked in.
every single one.
It was a bit of an awkward start there, really, from OG. They were going in with this Horn. Anna ends up being on the front lines. And that really was, I think, the easiest Ravage the mind controls had to pop.
I think they underestimated how tanky the side of Liquid really is when they have this mech finished up as well as a hand of God up from Kuroki. We see they go in with the Haunt, but everything just gets popped pretty much right away after that Ravage, and they're on full health. I think the fight there for OG, what they're trying to do is they don't have the Radiance ready, but if they're able to do decent in that fight, and if Ana is able to actually survive the fight, he gets full Radiance and the fight explodes.
And we saw a bit more context, right? He was trying to get himself away from Weehaw down bottom. So he was sort of forced to make the Horn play. Whoever he jumps on in the mid lane, that sort of fight's going to happen. So Ana was sort of just stuck in a very hard place in terms of the moves that he could make.
Absolutely. And we see the wards by Liquid. This is just an emphasis of how fast they want to be playing in this game. They put 3 wards watching behind this tier 2 mid. They want to really press the issue and try to close the game out with this advantage. If they can keep this advantage going, it's going to be great for them.
Everything so far on the checklist of what Liquid needs to do has been ticked. 13-7, 6k lead, both Weehaw and Miracle hitting those timings. They have the farm, 10k advantage.
And you see them immediately
Dire's
group up,
middle
go
tower
back to the
is
mid
under
lane. Even if
attack.
they don't have Ravage just yet, they're still just trying to set up and push the base down, push as hard as they can, take all the objectives, close the map from OG. As you see Meepo, Weehaw, he's constantly on the prowl, looking for Ana, looking for the
Dire's
Spectre to
middle
side
tower
lanes.
has fallen.
See, Ana, he knows he's got to be careful. He's so close to having the Radiance. And at a time where Horn is about to be back online, he's got to try and get it up. But a beautiful net into the trees there is going to hold him back, cancel the TP. Should still have the chance of running away with the dagger. I mean, I said that Weeha's continuing to... Weehaw, he's hitting them every single time. He's held him down. The dagger is there, but they're the Eve lane. Weehaw continues to play around with Ana. She's there with a ball.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
This is why this man's Meepo is absolutely terrifying. Yeah, thanks, Anna. I could have gone with absolutely perfect as well. You could have gone right. Oh, that's good. I mean, he hit them every single time. Right into the trees. That's a dead Anna. And at the most important time, he was so close to his Radiance. He had the Horn available, but he's out the game again. Liquid continuing to do everything right.
Yep. This Meepo pick is really seeming to be amazing for them as it just puts too much pressure on the map. They're able to push as a group unit, get these towers down, but also the Meepo can address the split push, address the late game that OG's trying to take it to. Can constantly pick off those sides. 14-7, 8k lead, 6k experience advantage as well. And immediately, they're knocking on the front door.
This is the scary bit for OG. They sort of ask themselves, are they going to go hard? Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Deso, PKB, no reason for Liquid to start to slow down at this point. OG will turn up in their numbers.
Radiance is done. OG might look to go for taking the fight, so the backline can be very squishy versus Radiance, but they have mech. They have level 2 Hand of God for Kuroki as well. And so a lot of heal can come in.
This is the point where even though they have that 8k lead, you got to be careful. You lose one fight whilst ahead against the Spectre and his Radiance, that's when the comeback can begin.
Absolutely. But they do have BKB on Miracle. They have a lot of these big items that allows them to go for aggressive plays.
So Sector's going to buy a little bit of time to start. GX is going to get choked down upon him. Jax trying to open the heals. No trouble to stop from the high ground. Able to disable Miracle's TA. Make sure that he cannot continue to commit onto 7. Seth will be kept safe. As Liquid still continue to sort of dance around the outskirts of OG. Wait to see an opportunity to go in, but they know they've got to be careful. And OG, they'll smoke up They themselves know they can get something good going with that Spectre Horn. The smoke was spotted out by the warding. So they know that OG's up to something, Liquid, and they're trying to sort of bait at the moment. Have Miracle on the front, see who reveals themselves. But now it's just Seb.
Both sides look like they're kind of baiting, right? Seb's like, come at me. My team's on the right, you know this, but I know your team's on the left. So both teams kind of playing with each other there. Popping the south now, trying to force Miracle to go in further.
Then another melt hit. Oh, I mean, Seb's got to be careful. He's got to go to Scepter, but mind control jumps in Gush. Utel slow step down. Still needs that second melt. Again, Decrave. Cherax with the Decrepify. Stops Miracle from being able to get another touch in onto Seb. Seb will be fine. Thompson on the high ground with that Invis rune. Maybe able to set up a toss back. Miracle. Receive a bit of damage from the Avalanche. Tyros trying to bait out a BKB potentially, but Miracle keeps his cool. Relies on the refraction alone.
Still very tanky. 1680 HP. Thompson looking to want to go back in though. He has the blink available.
My sprites are with
Seb
us.
a little low, but the Nature's Attendants will make quick work of getting him back up to full HP. Now OG, they are certainly starting to push Liquid back off their half of the map. Thompson's going to look for the quick combo on GH, but a Glimmer Cave's available. They still have the vision with the sentry down for a toss. GH, he's able to back off and get away. They're all now being used. They're going to try and utilize this radius to get the kills. They'll get the support of GH. Can they get any of the bigger cores? It doesn't look like it for now. The rest of Liquid able to safely get out of there. And now Liquid, they can work with in mind that there's no Horn Radiance. It was used only for GH. This is a good window where Liquid can get back to doing what they just were, especially with the Blink Dagger being finished on Miracle.
OG definitely wanted to get more out of that one there, but Liquid too quick to disengage. That Glimmer, just every little thing buying some time for them to get out before that Spectre Haunt is able to catch more of the back lines.
I mean, and you could see that was exactly how Liquid was playing. That whole sort of movement and sort of hesitating to go in. They were just waiting for that horn. OG, they finally felt forced to try and make something happen with it, and it wasn't good enough. Liquid still able to keep this stronghold.
Both teams were definitely toying with each other a little bit there with the initiation. Both teams had good vision of each other. They both were aware of
this both of them here. Just gonna have eyes on Thompson. Quick blink from Thompson out before the Gush connects. Seb's instantly out of this top area of the map.
Thompson also having a haste rune. This could be a really big one for the next upcoming fights, as he can dance in and out of the fights much easier to get multiple combos. Liquid all joining in together in the area up top. They have a Silver Edge also finished on the Meatboat too. So Silver Edge in this game, I know we've seen a lot of Meatboats just pick up Silver Edge, but in this game, he's versus a Spectre, he's versus an Enchantress. It's a really good Silver Edge game.
Especially this, but it still takes a little bit of time, right, to get that first hit on the edge. But when you do, he will be very, very easy to kill. I mean, item-wise, what's Seb walking around with at the moment? Just the Ogre Club, Ghost Scepter and the Midas. Playing for that late game, playing for towards the idea that OG can continue to hold and make sure that Liquid don't take any of the tier 3s. And, you know, despite that early advantage, that they are yet to be able to break the base of OG. OG, even with not necessarily the biggest haunt in the world, it's slowing down Liquid that little bit. That lead that they've grown has started to sort of stagnate and to stay at that same bar. If OG can take a great fight around the horn, the turnaround could start to come out.
Sure.
Down, jump forward for Miracle. They've gone over the stop. Will slow down Miracle's damage output, giving Seb the time to walk out. Ghost Scepter pops as well as they can. Off the edge. There's the lockdown. Weehard's in with the net. They'll finally kill Seb off. Question is, how much can they do with this bit of time? No Enchantress. Anna push the bottom lane out all the way around. They can go for the tier 1 tower, but they struggle to go for more whilst that creep momentum has been dealt with by Anna Spectre.
I feel like we've seen a lot of these cat-mouse games a lot here at this Internationals. When you have this late-game lineup that doesn't really have the best team fight, you're facing versus a lineup that has an immense amount of team fight, you kind of just have to dance around the map and try to take your best bets and just push, split push and catch waves and just delay the game. That's what OG's name of the game is for this one. Liquid's trying their best not to allow that to happen, and they have good heroes for it, as we were mentioning. They even have an illusion rune now, too, for the Meepo, so he's going to push out the bottom wave, they're going to push in the mid wave, too, and then pretty much everything is pushed in so they can go for this opportunity of that Roche.
Now another Roche. Another Aegis. Of course, this time the cheese on top as a bit of a bonus for Liquid.
Yep.
And with the speed that they do it, even with OG's They just cannot set up in time, even with the sort of ET control around the pit, the haunt to get in. They're still not quite ready to make those sort of aggressive plays, OG. They have to continue to wait for Liquid to come to them and for Liquid to mess up.
The scary thing is, though, it's, we're saying the late game insurance always a bad Spectre, but everybody else on the side of OG, they're really falling off. And it's a Spectre, sure, who's amazing in the game, but versus a TA and a Meeple, these two might
hard.
be enough. It probably are enough to be able to just crush a Spectre in these fights.
Especially with the Silver Edge build, as you mentioned. They have the tools. It's not an easy situation at all for OG. Ravage high control, but what the Ravage is going to buy time for the rest of the team to come over. First network quite connect on Anna as he's forced back to safety. They'll still continue to try and chase on. Anna's into the trees this time. He will be able to TP out. We are not quite in range. Continue to lock it down. Thompson with a poke from the back, making sure that Liquid cannot chase down any of the remaining members of OG. He'll stay hidden trees. GH.
It looks like Thompson's almost hunting like Tinker or something in this right. Look, last like 6 minutes or so, I feel like I've just seen Thompson in the tree lines, cutting creep waves to try to delay the push that's going to be coming out from Liquid inevitably.
The items for Anna are continuing to roll out. Full Manta. The items for everyone else still have ground to a bit of a hole on OG. Setups there onto one of the Meepos. They're going to drop the ult down, but already Miracle on the back line. He's dead. He's dead. He wants the BKB. It doesn't matter. They're going to beat him down. And then the torch. We are. Silver's up with the impetus. It follows up. Still, he has enough HP to walk top. He's straight on top of We Are. We Are dead. Can they do it again? No doubt. He's got the spirit out. Backing off, We Are again. He had the main Meepo up onto the safe area of the high ground. He's not stopping though. They're holding back a little bit with the E-Blade. Can they get this kill? We Are again. Boost up to the side, but he's there for up in the high ground and then he's disabled or is not. He's able to jump back down, get himself away. OG continue to chase. But these roots, these nets, they're holding OG back. Thompson, in again with the blink. He needs help. We Are again to get in the stop. The entire Meepo and across the We Are trying to turn. Miracle is killing Jared. The buyback from Miracle. They're trying to get rid of Liquid. They're going to try to run. Adam, he's in with the ball, chasing down We Are. He can't surely finish this kill. We Are so low. The glove will give it away. Finally, Adam gets We Are. Liquid is going to continue the cleanup. They'll chase Seb's heals. Will not be strong enough. Seb will fall. There's no tell. TP out in the trees gets him away. Anna's still in the neighborhood, but he will manage to make his way out of there. They get the kill on Weeha. They force out a buyback from Miracle, but still it costs them a lot and they're diving deep, OG.
You see how much they want to go for those dive plays, though. They're like, Ana is getting kills, Ana is being enabled, Ana, right? For OG, that's all they're thinking about is just making this man shine. And they're starting to. He's almost creeping toward the #1 net worth as a Spectre. That was a pretty big chase out there, being able to slow down Liquid's Aegis and Cheese push. There's Miracle dying so fast in the fight. Now he has Cheese, but he died so quickly in that last.
He went straight in, felt confident with the BKB. But I believe they were able to just get enough burst out before he actually popped the BKB. He died so quickly after. I mean, this was a great sort of bring back for Liquid. This fight could have certainly gone a whole lot worse for Liquid, but they were able to draw OG so far and so deep that a buyback from Miracle was able to be there in time to allow them to get some kills in return. And he nearly sort of survives this.
It was all of these, it was every little thing inside of that instance too. It was the Hand of God, I believe it was the mech as well, and then he also E-blades the Meepo that was getting focused. So they had to keep switching targets between which Meepo they wanted to actually focus down in there. So this buys a lot of time, but that is a Miracle buyback that is forced. So he has to watch out in these next situations, not to get caught out, because a TA that goes down for 100+ seconds in these next few moments could be devastating.
He's trying to sell something juicy. Thompson out in the jungle does have a blink. So he's going to try and get out, go for the TPGH. We find him in time. GH in with the grab. It's Thompson just held back away from being able to TP back to the safety of his base. Dead for 50 seconds. No buyback as well on Thompson. So if Liquid can get the push back together, the base could be in trouble. You have to watch out for any sort of opportunity that Liquid is able to push high ground, because with this TA and Meepo,
Radiant's
very
top
good
tower
work
is
from
under
structures.
attack.
And Ravage is back online. That was the other important thing too, right? OG, they knew Ravage was on cooldown, so they knew they could chase all the way to the base of Liquid. But now Ravage is back. That's Liquid's timing. With this cheese, just make sure that Miracle gets his BKB off and just protect him. So that TA cannot die in these next few moments.
It just feels, the whole team of OG just sort of standing on Anna's shoulders.
Dyer's bottom tower
He's
is under
carried
attack.
them before. This game is going to be quite a heavy one, but he has got the farm. The problem is that the farm fatigue Liquid is so well dispersed across all their games that they able to threat from every single member of OG.
And Thompson's been the punching bag this game. His net worth, he's probably going to get surpassed by Jerax at some point in this game, but Jerax is pretty farmed in this one also for a Pugna. But yeah, like you said, it's mostly on Ana's shoulders right now for the side of OG, as he's got a fair bit of money on this Spectre. Pretty much having the Heart finished up. He's been deciding which one he wants to do. He's switched between Diffusal and Heart 3 or 4 times now. Now he's queued up the Diffusal. It looks like if with the Diffusal, he can kill those backline heroes so easily.
He just feels like he has to do everything right
now.
He has to survive. He has to do the damage. Sometimes the best defense is an offense. That's why we're seeing him cue that Diffusal blade up potentially instead of the Heart. We'll see what he does invest into, and he's going to buy it up. Diffusal will be there for the next fight, so if they can get in with the perfect haunt timing, you could start to see a fight. But OG are able to sort of pick apart the backline as an Ana can move from kill to kill.
Even pick up the backline, but also look for mind control. Mind control, 700 mana on Time Hunter. Your Ravage, your spell is off around
The silence there for physical burst, step too far forward.
50 seconds though, Edge. Might try to press their issue up onto that high ground here with that time.
You see every time, no tail. Just making sure the spirit is sort of out in between the teams. So anytime that Liquid do get a kill like this, they cannot just easily collapse onto the remaining members of OG.
His job is keep your spirit for that natural order on top of pretty much everybody so that Ana can do all that extra damage. Keeps throwing it out. And just continue to try to delay. Seb, gonna be respawning in about 15 seconds. But during all this, see Weeha. He's not keeping all his meatballs here, obviously.
No,
he's farming all over the place.
The efficiency for Liquid to sort of utilize the map whilst OG is pushed in is absolutely perfect with this meepo. You can get so much out of being everywhere. Being with the push, being in the jungle, being in the lane. And we are absolutely one of the best in the game at doing so with this hero.
Yeah, and they can even, like we were talking about before too, it's not just the people that can go around everywhere, because they have a chat, they have Divine Favor, so if they want to send another hero even, they can always be pulling people across the map with that Rapture ability of the Divine Favor. As you see the meatball top, Silver Edged, Weeha trying to find a frag as he knows OG is going to be setting up on the side. So the smoke comes out, Thompson gets broken right away, he knows, he's pinging it.
At the same time, that will give the info to Liquid that OG are split up. They know that they're not all towards the mid lane. So if the rest of the team can get some sort of a jump...
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
But it's hard, especially Ana. This is really, I guess, that's sort of the last thing we want to tackle. Miracle gonna head over to try and go for the valley. We will actually be able to grab it, despite the three of them being here, but they'll look to make him pay. They'll lead in, BKB's popped by Miracle. Ana will continue to chase with the horn.
He's following him.
He's staying on top of it, making sure that any sort of escape is hard. Mike Control's gonna come in the back. He's looking at trying to there's the Ravage pod, and now the turnaround comes into play. Liquid does it right there. He's doing just that. The Spectre's dead. He's got 5 seconds. There's no way for him to get back into the fight, so Ana has to sit on the sidelines and just watch as the rest of OG gets bullied heavily by the tracks around it. We are double kill as OG again struggling to get anything going their way against Liquid. Another sort of end of a bit of a dry spell where this passive play comes to a point where the frustration is felt. Ana feels he has to try and make something happen with it. It doesn't go their way, and in fact, mid lane, another attempt to push out. Thompson was trying to get all the guys away from the base, but he's just everywhere on this map.
It's starting to get a bit out of hand here. Ana, he's diving forward for the kills, but that cheese gets popped. Oh, they actually popped the glyph. Jerax isn't able to get that one there with the blast even. He's going to try again, but Weeha, he's here.
He's just going to make him pay for it. Or at least try to do so, Jerax. Trying to watch it fall to the side, the roots, making sure that no it doesn't matter, he took down to the output of Weeha, back towards mid. OG, they've got 4 dead, finally sent back in the game. 20 seconds till Ana returns. Obviously longer cooldown that matters, that 30 seconds before Horn. As even with the Horn, we've seen how far Liquid are ahead. OG just struggle to get any fights going in their favour as they'll dive in. Weeha, with all the stats, he's so tanky now in the meatball that they cannot put him away. In 36 minutes in, Liquid will finally get themselves into the base, take that mid brags. They're going to look for more. Jerax still down for 20. And they do have that meepo ready to go. Charge back on mind control. See if they got the damage coming in.
continues at it. He's back on control. A second kill. OG, we hold the round. To Jack. He's there. Healing at the critical. Anna is still alive. Sends it to the side. Throws down the impetus. His way on. Falling low. Jesus can't do it. Save it. OG. Double kill. The game. They lost their ranks, but they Team Liquid. That's the one they've been looking for.
And No Tail finally is able to be an Elder Titan in the can stand next to the agility heroes. We see how much damage Ana is able to do inside of that one. No Tail just standing next to both the entire time. We jumped in too far forward. Miracle
Getting
getting
the
the
rush out.
BKB.
Is there trying to be a buyback from GH? There's going to be more buybacks of Liquid. Trying to force empty away Jack.
More buybacks.
He's already up to the high ground. They do have the Ravage still on mind control. Mind control. He's looking for that option. He's still No Tail.
Ravage.
Does get it out. No follow up though. It's a bit of a Ravage. There's no follow up.
Next game.
It's lost Tail. As Liquid, they throw bodies into the pit. But not enough. And not at the right time. Look at the ages, the cheese, and an Aghanim's from No
Negative
Tail.
for the No Tail. He picked it up instantly.
He picked it up.
He wants to get in.
Yeah, he's the captain.
I mean, that tells me that he wants to be.
Yeah.
Wait, how much? So with Meepo,
okay.
you're actually getting the extra duration. So usually how the stop works is however many heroes you hit with your stop, you get the BKB diving when it's back. But now he's going to be hitting a lot of heroes, which means he can frontline, which means he can stick on top of the heroes and apply the natural order.
This is the Meepo Council.
This is it. Very
On another level. On another level.
All right, let's. I mean, that.
And look at the gold difference. There's only a 1k gold in it.
Let's just bring up the graph. Look at this. Look at this swing. It is a 20,000 gold swing as well as a 20,000 experience swing. Oh my God, OG! They now have a full heart on the Spectre, level 25 as well. It's back the other way.
It really is, and at the point where it felt like for Liquid, it was going to really start going in their way. The final moment that they were actually able to take that mid-tier,
Radiant's middle
the
tower
racks,
is under attack.
that's when the game turned entirely on its head.
Radiant's
The
middle
people had no
tower is
buyback for all
fallen.
of it, right? We have spent all his gold thinking.
And now it's OG.
And now it's OG. They're taking tier 3. Oh my
Radiant
God.
structures
got a full
are
E-blade.
fortified.
OG, they've done it time and
Radiant's
time
middle
again.
tower is under attack.
In games and in whole tournaments when people have been quick to count them
Radiant's
out.
middle tower
They
is
strike back.
fallen.
They strike back hard. They're pushing
Radiant's
onto the
middle
ranks.
barracks are under attack.
Their whole team back up, so we'll see how much OG can get. Anna still feeling confident on the front lines with that heart. Ages Thompson, finds Wilson outside the race. It's got a Miracle trying to hold on to the BKB charge. He's slowing it down. What the BKB, the impetus is the percent and just forcing Liquid back. As Liquid, they're held back behind their ranks.
Radiant's middle barracks are under
Creeps are gone.
attack.
Backdoor protection will kick back in for Liquid, but now it ends once more. As the mid lane reaches the middle racks, the range
Radiant's
racks are
middle
gone.
barracks
OG,
has fallen.
they're going to get the melee racks as well.
I'm still watching Weehaw with his real Meepo. He's just running around trying to cut waves, collect bounty rules, collect bounties, but they're losing the base.
Is fallen. Radiant's bottom
They need
tower is under
Weehaw
attack.
to bring his army in for the fight, but it's scary. The Elder Titan and the Axe. It's not easy for Weehaw
Radiant's
to fight
bottom
into his
tower is
OG.
fallen.
They're not leaving, they're not
Radiant's
going
bottom
anywhere.
And look at
barracks
where they're
are
hiding the
under
back
attack.
line. Look at Jerex as well as Noto. They're hidden so far away from
Perfect
everybody else.
positioning.
They want nothing to do with this Meepo rolling around.
He's going to go in with the Rappies. They'll be able to get set first. Can they get one? Anna, still not the target they want to find. They want to try and find some easier kills, but No Tail. He's able to walk this off with that axe effect. Another hero that's now so hard for Liquid to ever get on top of. Anna.
He's committing forward. He has heart.
He knows that he's safe. He's just running down Kuro. His team cannot really keep the Spectre off the Chen. As Kuro has to opt for the TP out, will manage to make it on the high ground. Anna won't continue to chase him up for the right fix. Weehaw gets the break hit. OG, they're now starting to play around. Liquid Mind Drop blinks out. Miracle does pop the BKB. They're trying to run down Jax, but the net won't catch it.
They just can't. Like Ana's literally running into 5 heroes by himself, and the rest of the team is all the way in the back line. They just cannot deal with Spectre now.
I mean, Mind Control's still trying to chase, but they just cannot do it. In every fight, the mana gets so low. Anna.
He's healing up. He's getting ready to hunt. It looks like he's eating 2 mangoes.
Oh, they've got to be careful. Liquid, if
Very.
they continue to chase this, what's going to come in and there it is. Straight away, the turn towards Weehaw. Trying to start the fight off, committing. But on time, the damage being done to the side. Aside from Jared, Weehaw looking into the triple. Weehaw will survive. Miracle, he's looking for that pesky poke down along with the help from Mike
monster. They can kill the other heroes. They can constantly do that outside of Liquid, but Ana doesn't look like he's dying again in this game. He's
really
so far out of position.
Ana Spectre, we have, no, this is not the first time we've seen it at this TI, where he just comes into games and takes over entirely. You really have to appreciate that for a large portion of the mid game. What, OG, what about 15k behind?
15,000.
Ana was the only one that was really having a look at that drop off.
Yeah. And you said, we've seen Ana play this TI. We also saw him playing it last TI.
Yeah.
He loves his Spectre.
Ana is back.
Radiant's bottom barracks
He
are under
really is
attack.
at full power here in the grand finals. This game one, OG swinging it round entirely. Liquid could not get enough done early on, as this is a second set of racks that OG is taking
Radiant's bottom
away.
barracks has fallen.
Liquid has to be pretty thankful that they still have a tier 2 up top. So OG isn't going to be able to go for those megas. So they're going to back up, but what a swing. Because Liquid, how do they take fights? They now have a pretty solid build
Radiant's
here on
top
Miracle. He's got the
shrine is under
Bloodthorn
attack.
plus the Nullifier, but he's all in.
He's got to be worrisome, right? For Weehigh, he goes fully in on this stat build, right? No sort of X, the double Scardy.
Yep.
Dire's top
And
tower
still,
is under
they are
attack.
killing him in the fights. It's not enough HP.
Because the HP is not the thing, right?
Radiant's
The
top
ET,
shrine is
sure,
under
he's
attack.
died in the last one, but it
Radiant's
does
top
amplify so
shrine
much.
has
And they do
fallen.
have that straight up damage that can't come out. Now we're seeing Thompson. He's starting to rack up too. He's got his Daedalus finished. Daedalus Tree Volley. They have the ways, the means to be able to bring down that meatball.
They really do.
And now
I guess
the lanes are being pushed in. OG, they're setting up to go for that tier 2 top. They've got their pretty much everything available.
Radiant's
They've
top
got the hunt
tower
now
is
too.
under attack.
and a lot of those stats sort of rendered ineffective, right? All this agi that's giving him, what, 30 armor, it's taken away. There's no flat armor.
As long as the ET's next to him, yeah.
Sure.
As long as No-Tail can actually
And
get
most of these
it,
fights,
what he is going to.
with that axe, he can afford to get in and stomp off, and they aren't killing No-Tail straight away in the fights anymore.
There's too many things they have to pay
bottom
attention to.
shrine is
There's too
under
many
attack.
target priorities that
Radiant's
Liquid want to
top
go
tower
for.
is under attack. Dire's
But that
bottom
might just be the
shrine
biggest one.
has
Again,
fallen.
trying to get this Elder Titan.
I think the big one really for Liquid is getting that another fight. It is there.
There's
Another
not-
fight in TA. There was already, what, two Ghost Scepters and an Eco. He's not a decrepit buff. Now they can have a pick option going for the kill. The fight Thompson, he's out of that. They have the pick-off potential. Anytime
Radiant's
that
top
OG
tower
is
is
separated, you cannot write off how quickly Liquid's lineup can delete heroes, with Miracle's build sort of coming to completion with the Bloodthorn Nullifier.
But Thompson was just cutting bottom weight, if it looks like there. While his team was pushing top, and he just gets caught out. But he has buyback. Oh, GH. Died very quickly by the control. Drowning in.
Double kill. I mean, they do not have buyback. They do not have buyback. Neither mind control or GH. They cannot get back into the game.
That's going to
And
be
OG,
great.
they're going to know this. They're going to keep the pressure up on top. Heart, Butterfly, 5.7k gold in the bank. Why not? Ana Spectre so far ahead right now as he leads his team towards the third and final set of racks. Miracle has to blink away. Now the buybacks are available for the team. They
Radiant's
have the
top
gold
tower is under
to get
attack.
back in. Fortification will
Radiant's
slow down
structures
OG's
are
efforts for now.
But they're still going to stay. OG, this is the last set of racks. Ana still feeling that powerful. There's the buyback for the time.
Found on that side of the base though. Weehigh trying to set out the corner. Is he going to get him in one thing? To get him some more.
Radiant's
Able
top
to catch him
tower
before
has
he's able to
fallen.
poof back. Meepo dead. He's going to have to use the buyback. Out it comes. Zana will get the D award and continue to push up, taking these racks. Mind control, trying to set forward, but Seb turns towards him. Seb pretty low on the mana, but he's got enough rainbows to bring mind control down to about 25% of his HP. And pop the BKB and Miracles that are trying to get these guys marked. I think the dispatch will be there.
Radiant's top
They're trying
tower
their best to control Seb. She's out. Can they even kill the Ensure? They're trying their best on the hybrid Adam. He has been nullified. They can damage him, but it's again, the single target for Liquid. If they get it going, they can still kill the cause of OG. Even the big old Spectre. As Liquid double kill is 3 buybacks they have to use.
Seb instantly buying back. The Roche is up.
They want to
Click
contest
now.
now.
Going into it there, there's going to have to be a bunch of buybacks for OG. They have refresher queued up on Ana. How much gold does he have for buyback? He doesn't have, he's almost had enough for buyback with the refresher. For Liquid, if he wants to solve the rounds, they're going to have to get this one though.
OG, of course, were able to take that melee rack stop, so they are just holding on to a ranged racks Liquid, but
but they are doing exactly that. They are holding on in this game.
And Thompson, he was already positioned up toward top, looking to try to go for more split push. But look what they have to just run it down the mid lane, try to
Radiant's
force
top
these
barracks
buybacks.
are under attack.
Aegis cheese.
Well, we see, at the moment, the Aghanims and the Refresher Shard being held by mind control.
Dire's middle tower is under
It's yet to consume the
Dire's
Aghanim's blessing.
structures are fortified.
Liquid trying to force out these backouts and he's got to buy back. The tier 4s are being focused. They're not interested in Megas. They're potentially another